It's been a long night at Hycroft China. The team is happy with their findings, but it's time to pack up. And for those of you who may be interested, the morning after the investigation, Ron found that same light mysteriously turned on yet again. Next, MHPI readies for a night at the Medalta building, where one team member gets much more than they bargained for.
Buy the other place again.
With a productive investigation of the Hycroft China building, it is now time to spend a night at Medalta Potteries, where eyewitnesses frequently claim to have seen full apparitions. The team sets up their cameras in 4 areas of interest, all within the clay production area. However, because the building is so big, they plan to surveil one side of the old factory and partway through the evening switch to the other. Before long, everything is ready.
The clay production area. This is the first start of our Medalta investigation. Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of activity in this room. We're just going to set up with the night vision cameras now and see what we can pick up and just wait around, hang out for a bit.
So as not to be too intrusive upon any possible spirits, Vera, Lynn, and Scott set up in the clay production area while the rest of the team wait in another room.
So I'm calling on any spirit that wants to come forth and talk to us, to let us know that you're here. You feel something over there? There's definitely an energy over there. And it is cold as ice right now. This is your place. We're just here to visit you. And if you can, put something on my recorder. Tell me how you're feeling. Yeah, we hear you.
Holy crap.
It's a guy. He works in this department. He's in here. And I can feel him right in this corner. Now, I'm not sure who it is, or I'm not getting any names right now, as of right now. But he's definitely... Whoa, that was good. That was a good one. When I first come through here, when we did our pre-investigation in this area right here, I felt there was someone here. Tonight, we were sitting at the control center, and I got the name John. I feel that he's definitely on top of the machines. Like, I don't feel that he's down here working, and I feel that he's died there.
Vera Lynn then continues through the production area and senses another presence from the building's sordid past.
Okay, when we did our pre-investigation, we took our original tour through here. I said that I felt somebody, like someone died up there.
Right.
And we kept going on the tour, and you'd said to me, well, that's really strange you would say that.
Well, I've heard
rumors.
I've heard stories of between the time when the factory shut down and when the Friends of Medalta Society started up to try to sort of reclaim this place. It was very idle for many, many years. We're not certain what went on in those interim years between 1954 and the mid-'80s. So the possibility of something happening in here, yeah.
There was rumors or something, maybe somebody had harmed themselves here?
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel a lot around this area.
Okay.
But despite these supposed deaths, Vera Lynn doesn't sense much negative energy.
I feel here at Medalta that the activity is actually active, like they're actually there. There's a lot more entities here. It's almost like when I walk into the back room, I can actually feel everybody working. I can feel the whole thing. As opposed to Hycroft, I feel everything's quiet. People aren't actually working and moving and living every day, kind of. It's almost like it all stopped there.
Meanwhile, Kevin is in the hall where one of our witnesses claims to have seen an apparition.
I walked in and I just had a very, very strong presence of, there was a few people in here. And after I felt it, I actually had to leave because I was almost nauseated by it. It was so strong. I can just feel that they're here watching us. That's the only thing I can feel right now.
It's now 3 hours into the investigation, and they decide to set up on the other side of the building. But as they do, Scott, Vera Lynn, and Ron sneak off to inspect one of the 4 kilns outside, and the investigation takes an unexpected turn. Scott is operating the camera, but puts an abrupt end to the shot.
I don't feel anything like I do inside the other place.
And while it doesn't look like much from the camera's point of view,
inside the other place,
Scott's account of what happened tells us a much more dramatic story.
Well, I was videotaping them, and I was asking Verlin what she felt, and at that time something reached over, grabbed me, and ran in. Three of us were in there, and I was asking Verlin what she had felt, and what, at the time, I can't even believe this. I felt something actually pull my right shoulder back, and when I reached out to grab, and I ran.
Scott, who was filming us on his camera, all of a sudden got very, very agitated, kind of jerked around a little bit and started running from the kiln. And on his way out, he just said, "Something grabbed me," and he was gone.
I know I witnessed myself, him being physically ill, actually vomiting repeatedly over about the span of 10 minutes. So I don't know what did it to that guy, but something happened out there.
A half hour later, the entire team enters kiln number 4, the site of Scott's incident. But as you can see, Scott is very hesitant about going back in, still visibly shaken. It's now 3 a.m., and the incident in kiln number 4 proves to be the last part of the team's on-site Medalta investigation. When we return, Chick heads up a little research, and Ron is presented with all of the team's findings.
He actually was the foreman.
You got it, right on.
With the on-site investigations now over, some of the most difficult work for the MHPI team now begins: research. Chick is the lead researcher, and she's brought Jackie along for a little assistance.
We are at the Esplanade in their archives room because there's a lot of history of Medicine Hat here. It's a great resource for us to use. Verlin had come across Dot. We're assuming it's going to be short for Dorothy. The other one was Flo. Assuming again that it's short for Florence, and Kevin himself came across the name Jacob. So we're going to see if we can, get any hits on those 3 names.
Jackie soon finds a relevant glimpse of Hycroft's past.
We found this picture. It's in one of the back rooms at Hycroft China. It's where Verlin picked up the feeling of Dot or Dorothy. Kind of a neat picture to find and actually see the women in there actually working.
You know what? This is the picture that actually Verlin had envisioned, where the women were standing in a kitchen area. And there's a Dorothy, and this would be Dorothy here.
Wow, that's like the name that Verlin came up with, Dorothy. Dot.
Now that they've hit on the name Dorothy, Chick and Jackie move on to look for Jacob.
Oh my gosh, Chick, I found a Jacob. He actually was the foreman at Alberta Clay Products.
Do you know how long? Seriously, I have been looking for that name, and it just, you got it right on.
In 1932, he was an employee there.
The team has reviewed hours of video footage, analyzed hundreds of digital images, listened to lengthy audio recordings, and have dug through the Clay District's history. It's time to show Ron, an admitted skeptic, just what they found. The team does not bring the pre-investigation audio, as Ron has already heard it.
Okay, Ron, so we're here today to show you some more evidence.
Vera Lynn and Kevin present Ron with their more substantial findings. The video and stills on the face of the wall in Hycroft China.
Right there.
Yeah, I can see it.
And it also dropped quite a bit, the temperature, in that spot.
It's fascinating.
The orb of light that followed the team in the Hycroft building.
It comes back to her and then
so-
follows her the rest of the way. Because there are dust particles and stuff as we moved. This one was a little unique.
The names that Chick and Jackie verified in their research.
He picked up a name, Jacob. I also got the name Dorothy. Okay. The research team did come up with a Dorothy that actually worked in that department. And they did find a Jacob that worked there. and he was a foreman that would have walked up on top.
Okay. Yeah, I can't say that there wasn't a Jacob there, and I can't certainly Flo or Dorothy. Those are names, those are traditional names, and you know, in those years when the factory was operating, those are the kinds of names you would find of people in the factory.
While Ron is very intrigued by the evidence, he remains on the fence.
Like I said with the audio stuff, I can't say that there's irrefutable evidence that there is something there, but I'm not closing the door on it either.
The team, however, considers the investigation a success.
I think we found some pretty good stuff. I know what I felt, and sometimes that can't be put on film.
I am a skeptic. I don't think we found anything conclusive, but I'm not going to be the one to say that it doesn't exist, because I don't know.
And you can draw your own conclusions about a haunting at the Clay District.